Well, before the war, before I went, I had no idea really what was going on. I mean, I had a friend that was one of my best friends growing up that was entered the Marine Corps, and he was killed in action while I was still in flight school. That had a great impact on me. But when I got there, I had no preconceived idea what to expect. I mean, he was in the Marine Corps, he was a ground pounder, and I was going over there as an Army aviator, so I had no clue. I mean, even though in flight school they developed the different scenarios of what you're going to see, what you're going to do, and what you're probably going to come up against, it didn't match up with the country and the terrain when we got there. So there's nothing that could prepare you for exactly what happened. But as far as preconceived ideas go, I really didn't have any or know what to really expect. I think by going there, I'm in a better place now than I would have if I would have been left to my own means. I mean, when I was in high school, I really had no clue what I wanted to do. I knew I actually got some scholarship offers to some different colleges, but I knew that I probably would have flunked out and would have been drafted right away. So I heard about what they call the Warrant Officer Flight School program, and I took the test when I was in high school. I passed the test, and they guaranteed me a flight school spot when I graduated from basic training. After that, you're left on your own. If you flunked out of flight school, you're going to be in the infantry. And I had never flown before. I had no preconception of what flying a helicopter was all about. I'd really never even seen one up close and personal. So basically, when I successfully got out of flight school, I had a skill that I never had before, and I enjoyed doing it, and I enjoyed flying. So I learned something very valuable, and then I finished my active duty tour and went to the National Guard just about right away and continued my flying career, and that really set my career up from there as what I was going to do flying. And I also had the opportunity to go to school after I got off active duty, and I did that, but at that time that didn't relate to my flying career or wants and desires. It was just to go out and get a degree. No, I haven't. It's something I've been trying to plan to do for quite a few years now, but I do have a son who's a junior in high school, so maybe after he goes bye-bye, we'll have time to plan. I would go back in a second. I mean, it's not all about, a lot of it's all politically driven, there's no doubt about that. I mean, even with what's going on today, there's more politics involved than you even want to think about. But basically, when you go into service, you're expected to go where they tell you and do what they tell you. And that's part of the commitment you make when you either enlist or when you go to an ROTC program and get that commission. And that's all part of the deal you've made with the government before you go. And people expect to live up to that deal. And most of the people I've known in my military career, they willingly lived up to that. Very few people. There was one guy in our unit that actually came to a point over there that he refused to fly anymore and he gave up his wings. And they sent him home. So it's, people that didn't live up to what they committed to were very few and far between. But I would go back in a minute, especially with the, I'll say the friends I made over there. I belong to an organization called the Vietnam Helicopter Pilots Association, and we have reunions annually. And our unit was particularly close for a couple reasons. One was at the very end, there was I guess you want to call it a battle, called Lam Son 719. And our unit was one of the first ones in when they had the Cambodian and Laotian invasion. They lost every ship except one in our company. And we had multiple people killed. So it kind of strengthened a bond between everybody. And every year we get together and we probably have, what they have last year in our mini reunion, they had over 100 pilots from all the different periods, show up with their families, and it's a particularly close relationship and a bond that we share that a lot of people just don't understand. Well, Well, not really. Like I said, I put in over 20 months over there, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I've had several recall notices when I was in the National Guard that she kind of threw one away. I was recalled to go to Desert Storm, Kosovo, and a few of those other places, but I never really activated our unit, so it was one of those things. But I guess if I wouldn't have been married, I would have volunteered to go. So, but the military experience as a whole was, it taught me a lot. It gave me a profession, which I flew for LA County Sheriff for 25 years and just left that about 2 years ago. I lost my medical certificate due to some factors of Agent Orange exposure that kind of has affected me in other ways, but that's probably the only bad thing that I can think of that has followed me back all these years. And a lot of the other guys in our unit was the effects that Agent Orange caused, because our unit did spray it out of aircraft. And a lot of our guys died young because of orange-related illnesses, diabetes and heart disease and some cancers. But that's probably the worst thing that came out of the long-term effects of the war that I can think of.